Hello and welcome to Fiction Fans, a podcast where we read books and other words too. I'm Lily.
And I'm Sarah, and today we're re-releasing an episode that we recorded when we first started the podcast.
So we won't be doing our quick 5-minute intro this time.
During the first year of the podcast, we combined 2 book conversations into each episode, along with some related segments like Pet Peeve Corner and Words Are Weird.
We decided to republish those conversations as separate episodes to give those books a better chance to shine.
These have been slightly remastered, but you can still enjoy our peak 2021 microphone technology.
If you want to listen to the original double feature, these are episodes 2 through 23 in our podcast feed.
And as always, come disagree with us.
So this segment was actually the foundational concept for this entire podcast, and we have clearly gotten away from ourselves. This is our Pet Peeve Corner, where we complain about stuff that we find in stuff we read. That's it. That's the whole thing.
That's the shtick.
Sarah, do you have anything to complain about today?
I do. So I was reading a story on AO3, a fan fiction, and I didn't notice this in the first chapter, but I got to the second chapter and I noticed that there were no capital letters used at all in this fic. And I tried and I could not read it. So back button hit. I moved on with my life.
Okay, but like even autocorrect will capitalize stuff. You have to try to not capitalize. Like, I don't even understand how that happens.
Yeah, like I think it was definitely intentional. But so it was a stylistic choice that they made, but it was not a stylistic choice that I liked. And I didn't mind it so much in the first chapter because I think they didn't use, like I could get, if it was just the beginnings of sentences that weren't capitalized, I could maybe get past that, but they weren't capitalizing like names either. And the second chapter used a lot of names and it was too much. I need some capitals in my life.
Homophones. We've all learned that sometimes words sound the same but are not the same word. And if it happens once, it's fine. It's a mistake. Get over it. Everyone makes mistakes. But if they use the same word a couple of times, I cannot do it. That's not true. I still read it. I'm just mad the whole time. The most jarring one that I run into when you're reading romance is he grabbed her waist.
Yeah.
He grabbed her waist. It's an embrace. Except they spell it waste as in trash or bodily waste, which is an even worse mental image. And it just completely takes me out of the story. Like, I cannot. I am taking full credit for the name of this segment. And I'm sure you're happy to give it to me because it's lame.
Oh, yeah.
So, but it's mine, goddammit.
The credit is all yours.
It is our first step. Is it the journey of 100 books starts with a single page? That's the quote, right? I'm sure I got it right. We are embarking on our journey to the center of the Discworld. And it's fun because it doesn't even make sense because there's not a center because it's a disc world. Like it's nonsense on every level.
I mean, even discs have centers. There is technically a center.
That's true, but the center of the earth is the core of the earth. And that's the reference.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a core.
I just thought it would be fun. We've both read these books. It's been a while. I haven't actually read all of them, so there are going to be some of these. No.
Really? What did you stop with?
I mean, I've kind of read a random scattering of them.
Oh.
It's just there are holes, is all I'm going to say. There are holes in my repertoire, if you will. But this is going to be a great time to read them all finally. And then also reread the ones that I've read 100 times before. But we're embarking on a journey to the center of the Discworld, which to use not nonsense words for everyone else, Discworld is a series of books by Terry Pratchett, who is a British, I don't even want to, like, sci-fi author? That's not quite right. Comedy writer?
That's not, I mean, I think that sci-fi authors is the closest that you can get.
It's not wrong.
I mean, his books kind of defy genre in many ways.
Well, and they are a parody also. You know, he's parodying so many tropes of science fiction and fantasy
Yeah.
throughout the series, which I'm going to have so much fun being obnoxious about. Buckle up. But the very first book is The Color of Magic, and it came out in, I just looked at this page and I already forgot, 1983. The one. Correct.
That is the one.
And before we get to talking about this book in particular, you had a Twitter conversation the other day regarding which Discworld book you should start with. And I think we should talk a little bit about that. There's not going to be much non-spoiler conversation for this book. Read Discworld. If you haven't, listen to this anyway and then read it. They're all good. I don't feel like the story is as, what am I trying to say? The journey is the fun part of Terry Pratchett. His language is phenomenal and hilarious. Like, knowing how it ends is not going to ruin it for you.
I feel like a lot of his books, because they play on well-known tropes, like you can kind of point out what the plot progression is, so it doesn't matter if you know, like, how the story is going to end, because he makes you interested in how it gets there.
Exactly. And we're about to encourage you to not even start in order, which means, well, you're going to know how other stuff happened. Like, because he has these, like, sort of chunks of stories that take place on this earth, on the
Discworld
turtle, on the Discworld, you end up spoiling yourself, or at least I did, because I would read one character's set and they would mention another character who is apparently has this one job, but then when I went and started their series, they weren't there yet. So I knew which job they would get to eventually, and that was fine. Like that, it wasn't a problem. Maybe you can give me just like a one sentence. If X is your thing, maybe we can come up with one together. If X is your thing, or if you like X, read The Color of Magic.
I don't have a short promo that I can use for that, because I think that you will enjoy The Color of Magic more if you are familiar with his other work. Like, I don't think that The Color of Magic is where you should start. I think that once you have read some of Discworld, you should come back to The Color of Magic.
It is very much an exploration of the setting, very fundamentally.
He's definitely finding his feet with The Color of Magic. Like, he doesn't quite know how the world is going to shape up. And for example, Ankh-Morpork, pretty much the main city that a lot of the characters are from or are in the later series, is much more, I don't want to say comedically grimy, but like over the top grimy. And there are bits of the city that are clean in this book, which is a change. But I think that if you enjoy like pastiche of other genres, this is a good book for you, because it's a very clear pastiche of a lot of different genres.
The sort of driving force of this book is that a tourist comes to Ankh-Morpork, right? And so we get to see this city through the eyes of a tourist, and
except that much of this story takes place not in Ankh-Morpork.
Right, but that's how we're starting.
That is how we start.
And then he's a tourist of everywhere. And Two-Flower is this tourist. His name is Two-Flower. And isn't he really all of us? Aren't we all Two-Flower? Who hasn't thought, man, I'd like to meet a dragon? Like, you know, that is who we are as readers of fantasy and sci-fi, experiencing these worlds, thinking, oh, it would be so fun to drink a pint of mead down at the, the grimy inn. Like that is who we are. And then we have this person going through and doing that, and all of the people of this world just thinking he's completely bonkers. And it's so much fun. And then of course, the recurring joke that they don't know what a tourist is, and that I it's not something that comes up in a lot of his books, but with Two Flower you see a lot there are concepts, like modern, real world concepts that he brings up because he is us, not actually us. He's from Discworld, just a different continent. He's an insurance agent. And no one knows what insurance is. And he tries to explain it as gambling that your tavern won't burn down. And so the tavern owner is like, yeah, I'll make that bet. And then burns his tavern down. Like, it's just so. The true masterful parody is being able to take the familiar and make it unfamiliar. And Terry Pratchett does that in such a delightful way in this book.
Yes, I agree with you. But I think that this book is a lot more unrefined than his later work.
Oh, I agree completely.
Yeah, like I think that he gets a lot better at weaving the parody in such a way that you get it, but it doesn't feel unnatural. And this book kind of, like, you feel the parody bludgeoning you over the head a little bit.
Two Flower is literally a tourist walking into a tavern going, I want to see a bar fight. Like, it's much more absurd, and everything Terry Pratchett does is absurd, but it is ridiculous in a way that I feel like in his later books, the story takes itself more seriously, and we as the readers know the parody. Whereas in this, everyone is aware of how ridiculous the situation is.
Yeah. Yeah, I also feel that in later books, he's just parodying, like, one thing, generally. Like, and in this, so unlike a lot of his later Discworld books, this is actually divided into chapters. And to me, it feels more like a series of short stories that are brought together in one publication than like a continuous cohesive plot.
Yeah.
Because it feels like he's reintroducing the characters and the concepts in each sort of like short arc.
Yes.
And each arc is also like parodying a different genre. Like the first chapter or the first arc that takes place in Ankh-Morpork or around Ankh-Morpork is like parodying, Dungeons and Dragons and that sort of thing. Like, they even have a line about failing a roll for initiative.
Yeah.
Or he has a line about failing a roll for initiative. And then you have the next section, which is like a parody of like Lovecraft. And then you have the parody of Anne McCaffrey and the Dragon Riders of Pern. And then you have kind of the Jules Verne parody. So it feels a lot more segmented than some of his other work.
I feel like it almost is a proof of concept, because the rest of Discworld is this exact same idea. He does Phantom of the Opera. He does more that I can't think of at the moment.
Macbeth.
Oh, yes, he does Macbeth.
Hollywood.
Oh my God. There we go. There's so many. They're all so good.
They are.
I have read those. See, I've read most of them. There's just a couple weird gaps. But he does each one as its own book. Whereas in this, he's sort of like, he's playing with the concept.
Yeah.
Like, does this have legs? He's throwing it all at the wall and seeing what sticks. And the answer is all of it. So now he can like actually take his time.
Yeah, but that's part of why I feel like this is not the book that you should, even though it's like going by publication date, this is the first book that was published. That's part of why I feel like it's not the book that you should start with, because he is just throwing things at the wall. And so if you come to the more polished stuff, then you can go back and say, oh, I see where he kind of got, like, how he started, and I can appreciate this sort of more diamond in the rough than I would if I maybe started. I say that, but that's actually, I started with The Color of Magic I read in publication order, but I don't think that's how one should start.
I marked Death's intro just because I thought it was interesting.
Yeah, in later series, I feel like he's a lot more, I don't want to say methodical, but he doesn't take life randomly in later series. It's all governed by, like, is it your time to die, essentially.
Yeah.
And in this book, he just kind of like kills people because he gets annoyed, which is very different.
Yeah, the rules haven't been established yet.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I also completely forgot about the board game thing, the sort of conceit that the gods are playing a board game and the characters in this book are being affected by the moves they make and the dice they roll, which is very silly and fun, but also it tries to do too much, I think.
Yeah.
There's like,
Yeah.
there are so many little snippets of gold, but none of them really get the time to shine.
It's hard to talk about the color of magic in a whole lot more detail because it's not really a very meaty book, as we've said.
True. I love Rincewind. He's such an ass. How many times does he ditch Two Flower because it's not worth it? Two Flower is running into danger, and Rincewind knows better, and he's just like, no, I'm out.
I mean, part of what makes Rincewind such an interesting character is that, like, he tries to avoid these horrible situations, and he just, like, through no fault of his own, he gets put in them, but he knows they're horrible, and the whole time he's like, how can I like get out of this?
It's not that character where you think you're only here because you did the stupid thing that you obviously shouldn't do. And he is cruel for ditching Two Flower, who kind of needs him as his tour guide, you know? But you also understand, like, yeah, he recognizes that he's in way over his head. And I respect his decision making in that regard.
He did the math.
That doesn't make him a good person, though.
No, and he's very objectively, like, all he cares about is saving his own skin, which you would think on the surface that wouldn't make for a good character to read about, but it actually really works with Rincewind because he's not malicious about it, and he's so sort of bumbling and...
Yeah, he doesn't go out of his way to screw anyone over.
Right. And he's also just kind of bumbling and incompetent. I mean, not necessarily intentionally so, but it just sort of happens.
Well, that's who he is, right?
Yeah.
He was he got kicked out of wizard school.
Yes.
He flunked out of wizard college.
He did flunk out of wizard college.
So that's exactly who he is. He's just kind of incompetent. And but he knows, like, he doesn't, but he knows it. That's mean, but it's true. He's not in these situations because he thinks he's all powerful.
Yeah.
He's in these situations because he couldn't avoid them.
To be fair, part of the reason why he flunked out of wizard school, and I feel like this is maybe a little minimized in the later books, like it doesn't, but it's where in the later books he flunked out of wizard school because of this, but also, like, just because he was generally bad at magic to begin with. But in this, the main reason why he flunked out of wizard school is because he has this one spell. He knows this one spell, but it's too powerful and it won't let him, like, memorize any other spell. So he couldn't do magic after that.
So the way he memorized it is he was drunkenly dared by his, I'm going to call them frat buddies. I'm sure Pratchett doesn't call them that, but it's the spirit of the thing.
Probably, yeah.
To crack open the, like, forbidden grimoire that contains the 8 spells that created the universe, the Octavo. And so Rincewind opens it and the spell just jumps into his head. Poor Rincewind.
Poor Rincewind, yep.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Fiction Fans.
Come disagree with us. We're on Blue Sky and Instagram at FictionFansPod. You can also email us at fictionfanspod@gmail.com or leave a comment on YouTube.
If you enjoyed the episode, please rate and review on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and follow us wherever your podcasts live.
We also have a Patreon where you can support us and find exclusive episodes and a lot of other nonsense.
Thanks again for listening, and may your villains always be defeated.
Bye!